From the burning deserts of Rajasthan to the icy heights of Siachen, from battling wars to nation building, from scaling mountains to Olympic glory, from enduring struggle to supreme sacrifice. With an indomitable will, our soldiers lay down their lives for honor, for Izzat, for India. The Indian Army is the pride of our nation. The Indian soldier has had an illustrious march through history, from the battlefields of the First World War, where 1.3 million Indian soldiers marched with valor, to the Second World War, where 2.5 million Indian soldiers fought shoulder to shoulder with the Allied forces to uphold the ideals of freedom, liberty and democracy, hastening our own journey to freedom. The immortal epitaph at the memorial in Kohima is a salute to their sacrifice. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for their tomorrow, we gave our today. As our great nation took her first steps towards freedom in 1947, it was the Indian Army, with its secular credentials, that stood as a bulwark to protect human values, a quality they retain to this day. With sheer grit and determination, they dismantled tanks and physically pushed them up to the 11,500 feet high Zojila. This audaciousness, perseverance and flawless execution by the Indian soldier altered the course of destiny. Then came 1962, when the enemy attacked in hordes, taking the nation by surprise. The ill-equipped Indian soldier stood his ground, willing to lay down his life even in the face of overwhelming odds. In 1965, the Indian Army yet again proved its mettle, be it the dramatic capture of the Hajipir Pass or the unprecedented feat of capturing and incapacitating 100 enemy tanks in the Battle of Asalottar. In one of the greatest milestones achieved in military operations anywhere in the world, the Indian Army oversaw the birth of a nation in 1971, Bangladesh. 1984 saw the Indian Army conduct a singular operation in world military history. Strategically, one of the most important victories of the nation, when India established control over the imposing and magnificent Saltoro Ridge, overlooking the Siachen Glacier, now the highest battlefield in the world. The Indian Army was tested once again in 1999, evicting belligerent incursions on ice-capped peaks by tackling vertical cliff faces in Kargil. The Indian soldier yet again proved his mettle and won the hearts of the nation. The Indian Army not only safeguards the borders of our nation, but also the foundation of our democracy. The scourge of terrorism and insurgency has brought war to the doorstep of innocent civilians. Be it in the battle fatigues of the Rashtriya Rifles or the black dungarees of the Special Action Groups which form the backbone of the NSG, the nation turns to the army every time. The formidable reputation of our soldiers goes far beyond our shores. Donning the role of ambassadors of the Indian state, they have endeavored ceaselessly to achieve peace and stability in war-ravaged nations, making them one of the most sought-after peacekeepers across the world. Training friendly armies and extending support and humanitarian aid, our soldiers are the public face of Indian diplomacy. Participating in joint exercises with friendly nations, they also showcase our ethos and capabilities across the world. It is this lethal man-machine combination that stands between any adversary and society. The wrath of Mother Nature comes without warning and can be far more devastating than war itself. In such catastrophe, the nation turns to the ever-dependable army, the fastest responders in any crisis. Notwithstanding personal hardship, the Indian soldier has always responded with alacrity. Whether it was combating floods in Uttarakhand and Kashmir, earthquakes in Uri and Bhuj, tsunamis or cyclones, and provided succor and relief to our beleaguered citizens. This devotion to duty comes at a cost. The Indian soldier has been ever willing to pay the price whenever called upon. Stories of valor and sacrifice of the men in uniform are today folklore. Men apart, every man a hero. Yet, some men stand taller. From Major Somnath Sharma to 2nd Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal, from CQMH Abdul Hamid to Lance Naik Albert Ecker. These men willingly sacrifice their lives in the name of our nation. Such stories of selfless sacrifice abound not only in war but also in peace. Like Captain Manjinder Singh Bhinder, who saved 150 lives in the Upahar tragedy, and Bishnu Shrestha, who single-handedly saved the honor of a young lady from 40 armed bandits on a train. For every hero, there are countless others who too have spilled their blood. Some survived, many others did not. Unacknowledged, but secure in the knowledge that they too have done their bit for our nation. Words can hardly convey the awe and gratitude that these martyrs inspire, for their sacrifice is our freedom. In the words of T.B. Macaulay, how can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? Not only the soldier, their families too pay the price for such valor. But in their grief, they take strength from the fact that their larger family, the Indian Army, will always stand by them. The Indian soldier not only fights the nation's wars, but has a larger role to play in a march towards greatness. Building critical infrastructure like roads, bridges, and airstrips in virtually inaccessible and extremely varied terrains, to constructing bridges in Delhi during the Commonwealth Games, the Indian Army is there at the nation's call. Hard at work, the gritty Indian soldier hones his soldierly skills throughout the year, maintaining his equipment and keeping his powder dry. He's always there for other security forces, be it training the Central Armed Police Forces to combat terror or assisting the local police when things get out of hand. From restoring essential services like communication or power, to running railways or oil wells, from medical research to cyber war, from trauma care to conservation of ecology and heritage, the Army responds to the clarion call of the nation in every walk of life. Once a soldier, always a soldier. Our veterans too contribute to society. Once they hang up their spurs, they join every walk of civilian life, bringing with them the qualities of discipline, honesty, integrity, and loyalty. The Army also imparts these values in the younger generation through the NCC, investing in our future. In the sports arena too, the Indian soldier has kept the national flag flying high, and the impressive tally of medals tells its own tale. Be it Dhyan Chand in hockey, Captain C.K. Naidu in cricket, or the flying Sikh Milkha Singh in athletics, the Army has always contributed its share of outstanding sportsmen to the nation. Through war and peace, within our borders and without, these men and women stand shoulder to shoulder, inspiring the citizens of our nation. Irrespective of caste, creed or color, every soldier epitomizes the motto, all for one and one for all. From the dense and humid jungles of Arunachal to the barren expanse of the Rann of Kutch, from the beaches of Port Blair to the high-altitude desert in Ladakh, the Indian Army is ever ready, be it war or as the ever-dependable instrument of the state, supporting national endeavors and sustaining national pride. The Indian soldier stands steadfast and strong, knowing that the aspirations of over 1 billion Indians rests on his shoulders. He soldiers on, unrelenting in his pursuit of excellence. The nation expects, the Army delivers. In heat and cold, in pleasure and pain, stoic and steadfast, you will find him living by his honor code, willing to pay even with his life, for the dignity of our nation, the idea of India. The ethos and spirit of the Indian soldier makes the Indian Army the pride of our nation.